Hello, I'm Jenny. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm starting a new series. It's called Back to Basics. You may have noticed that I haven't had any videos up on my channel at all this year. It's because I'm assuming it's user error and it's nothing to do with YouTube, because I haven't had any messages from them to say anything. So the only thing that I can think is that I'm using new software to process my videos, and it's a learning curve, and I'm probably doing one setting wrong somewhere, and therefore I can't manage to get my videos up. Or they're disappearing when I do get them up, more accurately. So what I thought I would do, because a few people have asked about art-based things to do with scrapbooking, I thought I'd do a little series about like basics of art and basics of scrapbooking, and we'll see how they go, see whether they manage to stay up on YouTube, and then I'll go from there. So I guess probably the first thing to do is to show you where I started with making things with paper crafting. I started myself with making cards, and I bought, and I still do buy, pre-creased, ready-to-go cards that make what in the UK we call A6 cards. Can you see that it's got the crease already in it there? I don't know, I might have to switch one of my lights off. No, there we go. And this way up it's a valley, like they've scored it on this side. So when you turn it over, you've got a little mountain, which you can definitely see. And you fold it towards the mountain so that the mountain turns into a valley. And I'm going to then line it up with the corner of my paper trimmer, because this is a little trick that I learnt when I was probably about 10, that you find a corner of something and you stick your card into the corner. You stick all of the bits of your card into the corner and it lines them all up nicely, and then you can put the crease in, and then it's basically folded. You just need to take your bone folder. They're called bone folders, not because they're called bone folders. They're not called bone folders because they fold bones. They were originally made out of bone. I was gifted one that was made of real bone, and it gave me the creeps using it. So I swapped with a friend of mine who didn't mind having it. Cheers, Martin. And he gave me this rather lovely one in exchange. It's got a nice bit on both sides at this end. It's kind of pointy, so I can use it to score things. And it goes round like that in a little curve on both sides. And then it's got another little curve here, but also a flat edge that's also quite sharp that I can use to score things. Now we're going to use one of these two rounded edges today, because what you want to do is put pressure through this bit, but you don't want to make a mark on the card. If you use this end, then when you drag that along the card, you're going to end up with a mark, because this corner, there you go, because this corner or that corner will cause a mark. Okay, so let's make sure that you can see what I'm up to. Take the bone folder, and we make sure that the card really truly is lined up. And it really truly is lined up, and then just press down and pull the bone folder along. And you see I didn't end up with a mark along there, and then we're going to turn it over just to make sure. So that is how you get a lovely sharp crease in your card. And that's probably the start of making a professional looking card. So I've used all sorts of different products over the years, but yeah, I buy multi-packs of these. They come with their own little envelopes, and they're great. And you can get them, depending on where you go, where you're willing to go for them, you can get them in all different colours. My sister gave me some that were pearlised, metallic, and in gold and purple and silver one year for Christmas. Beautiful. But we're not going to use one of those today, we're going to use this one. So, what I'm going to make is a card. Now, I could just pop this on the front like that, if I wanted to. Or, I could cut a mat, which is why I've very cunningly brought this over, to go behind it. And the way that I check to see whether a mat will look good or not is use the corner of my card just to have a little look and see. And I think that that will look good. So that's what I'm going to go with. Now, other options that I've got are that I could cut this down to make it a smaller piece. So maybe only make it that wide. And that would have a slightly different effect on my card. At the moment, it's almost the same width as my card. I believe in the US you call this size of card an A2 card. A2 is something completely different in the UK. It's that's A3, so A2 is double that again. So about 12 inches by 16 is A3, so it's double that. So that's 24 by 16 inches, which is somewhat bigger. This is what you get if you take, in the UK, an A4 sheet of paper and cut it in half and then fold that in half. If you're in the US, you take an 8.5 by 11, cut it in half and fold that in half. It's basically your standard sheet of paper. So in the UK, ours are slightly narrower and slightly longer. Doesn't really matter, it just gives you a standard card base. But as you can see with my other base, it's half of the size of an A4 sheet. So this is probably my most important tool as a paper crafter. I think I will actually cut it down. I think I'm going to cut it down along there. I'm just going to make it look pretty. I'm not going to go with a particular size, I'm just going to make it look pretty at this point. Actually, I probably should go for a nice size, because then I can make it a nice size for my mat as well. So if I make it to this line here, fun thing about having a paper trimmer with all the little lines on is that I can just line it up with one of the lines and I know that it's a sensible, significant, normal measurement. So I think I might need to change my blade. If you look, it's kind of all jagged up one side. Now I have to use my second most important tool, which is a pair of scissors. Because of course with a bone folder you can just use your thumbnail. One of my children very much does not like the noise if you use your thumbnail to make sure that your card is neatly folded. So when she was little and I didn't have a bone folder, because it was before someone had gifted me the rather lovely real bone one, and so I used to have to go into a different room with her card so that she could make me a Mother's Day card or whatever. So this is, now there are two options here. One is that I stick it on to the green and then cut to match all of the edges, or I measure this and then cut this so that I get the same, so that I get a slightly bigger piece of the green as I've got of, I believe they're lavender. So what I've got, if I really like this paper trimmer. When you're buying a paper trimmer, you need to, if you can, borrow a couple of other ones and see how they feel to you. If you can't, I'm going to link in the description, if I can, a video to a friend of mine called Jamer, who has reviewed a whole swathe of different paper trimmers. This one is the same one as the Stampin' Up one, but in different colours. The Stampin' Up one has brown, has sort of chocolate brown kind of colour, where this one has black. I picked this one up. It was on a sale in my local craft shop, and I thought, yeah, great, I need a paper trimmer, this one looks good, it's the right size, I've had a feel of those ones before. Paper Fuel is a company that I worked with before and I trust them. And then I went back to go and get more blades for it, and my local craft shop said, oh no, we can't stock that one anymore. Which was not entirely what I was planning. So, yes. I believe that there are a couple of other brands that are the same. But, yeah. When I get another one, I've actually got 2 of this particular model because I snapped one up when I saw it on another last chance sale somewhere else. So we've got 4 inches by, okay, so I'm starting at 6. 1, 2, and then 3/4. So if I go for, how much bigger do I want it? I think I only want it about 1/8 bigger on each side. So if I go for 4 1/4 by 3, that will be very nice. So 4 1/4 by 3. I'm going to cut 3 in this direction. Okay. So there's my 3. I'll find the 3 on there and then I line it up. And then just flap the plastic arm down. And I know it's working better in one direction than the other. Haha! Pick the right direction this time. Put the rest of the green one over there. And then double check that I haven't done something daft. Yep, I've definitely done it right. Phew. And then 4 1/4, and I'm going to line it up with, there's the 4, so 1/4 is the next line over, which I can double check by saying it's 1, 2, 3 sections before the 5, which is the other 3/4, and here we go. So that's the one I don't want, and this is the one I do want. So again, I'm going to use my little trick of lining it up in the corner, and then I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back. So you can do this with any picture or piece of pattern paper or whatever that you've got. As you can see, I'm slightly shaky with my left hand. This is because I did my shoulder a little while ago, about 7 years ago now. And sometimes I can't quite control all the nerves in my left arm. So I'm very sorry if I'm shaking whilst I'm making any of these videos. But there we have it. Life is just how it is. There we go. Lined it up very carefully to make sure that the side here and the side here were straight. And then make sure that all 4 sides are the same distance between the picture and the edge of the mat. And this glue is one that I was recommended. A number of other scrapbookers use this particular glue. It's called Barely Art Precision Craft Glue. And you can get it in little ones like this and ones that are a little bit bigger. And they're orange. And then it's got a refill bottle as well that is shaped like a bear. If I didn't already like the glue, I would absolutely be sold at that point, because who shapes their glue like a bear? Anyway, so we have the card and we have the picture bit to put on the front. A couple of other bits that we're missing. Now, when I was first making cards, you could buy die cut pieces like this, and I could put one of those on the front maybe. I'm not going to with this one, but sometimes with a picture you get a fairly, actually I'll show you with one of these. I cut down this whole sheet of paper so I can turn it all into cards. I'm actually going to make a card workshop with this one. So if you get the card workshop, you will be able to make the same card as me. But with this one, I might put a piece of gold on the front. Probably not this one, but I've got a few other pieces. But I really like my bling on cards and scrapbooking and things. So, as I don't really wear bling on myself, so I like putting it on scrapbooks and putting it on cards and things. And I love how shiny the metallic is. Yes. And So what I would have done originally, because I didn't have any foam blocks or tape or anything, was just stick this straight down. But now I have little foam, a whole range of different little foam thingies actually. Got some little foam strips as well, which are quite useful. Now, where did I put the foam? Of course, I want it right now, so I can't find it. I know where I put it. I put it in the other one of those, which is over here. Okay, here we go. Oh, actually, I'll bring that one over as well, and then you can see it. So the reason why my little foam stickers were over there is because I was making some cards and things with these. And I've also taken to storing these bits in as well, in my little tubs, just because it's a useful place to store them. I actually have no clue where I got them from. One of the fun things about crafting supplies in the UK is that a number of our companies have gone under since 2008. Certainly since 2008. You're not supposed to stick to my fingers. There you go. Oh dear. I have sock stickers everywhere. And so I can't find angel policies for a number of different craft companies in the UK. Which is how I actually ended up with Stampin' Up as a demonstrator. As one of my friends put it, I would never have said that you would end up in direct sales. Well, no, nor would I. But I need a company that has an angel policy that says that I can use their products on my YouTube channel, and I need a company that says that I can use their products in kits. And Stampin' Up says that so long as I give them credit for the images and I don't send out stamped images, then I can use their products for all of the parts of my business that I need to use them for, which is great. So again, I've tucked it right into the corner. I'm making sure that the card opens the correct way, because what we don't want to do is stick it on upside down. So now these little foam pads, because they've pre-glued, they will stick wherever you put them first. So I've made sure to leave a little gap at the top so I can get the edge of it where I want the edge of it. So I line up where I want the edge of it, and then I move it up ever so slightly, because then as I rock it down, it will end up in the right place. Ta-da! So, the next thing that I want to do is add some words on the front. There are all sorts of different options here. I've got this one out because I've been using it recently. I've used that one and that one as my last two scrapbook layout, the titles for them. So I was having a look at this one, and well, I could use Hello Sunshine for a card, but this one's for my mum, and I'm not really sure that Hello Sunshine is the right sort of vibe to give to my mum. And I picked up in, I think it was January's actually, Stampin' Up have started doing this product of the month thing, and this was the one from January. Pretty sure it was January. And I've used a few of them, as you can see, because the ink stains on the photopolymer stamps. So I could use one of these maybe, but I think maybe because they're a little bit bigger, I could use one of these on the inside. You're on my mind. That sounds like a good one. I could fit it in down there. Just. Don't know. I think I might go for inside and put You're on my mind there. This is for my mum. I think I just said that. I could use this thinking of you that I've got hanging around and put it just right up to the edge. Maybe I could actually dovetail the end. How would that look? Other advantage of these, the little pointy end, is that you can see what a dovetail is going to look like. Yeah, I reckon that'll look good. Or shall I just leave it square? Don't know. Maybe I'll stamp on the inside first. Put it just up there for a moment. Okay. So pop them out of the way. And that one out of the way. And I'm going to get my other little tool out. As I said, I bust my shoulder a little while ago. And this is one of those tools that I now couldn't craft without, because one of the things that I can't do is grip. So I'm quite lucky because I'm hypermobile, so I can fix my thumb in an interesting position. And because I have grip between the base of my thumb and my fingers, I can then extend that and hold things like that. Slightly awkward, but I can do it. But it doesn't quite work when it comes to holding a stamp pad. So, right. I'm going to turn this the other way up. This one has got two different sides. So it's got a rubber stamp side, or what Stampin' Up were calling the cling stamps, you know, the red ones. And it's got a photopolymer side, so a clear side. What I've done is put a pad in, and I have it on the side that says that it's for rubber, so that I don't bend my cards or bend my layouts when I fold this down, because it brings it up to the edge along here. What I can do if I need to is just butt the corner up into there and flip this over. It comes out like that, dead easy. I really like the new Stampin' Up one. It's great. The only difficulty with it is that it needs both hands to go down at the same time, which until I've tried it, I'm not going to invest in it, because I don't know whether or not I'll be able to use it at all. So, You're on my mind. There we go. Pop that in the right place. Little trick, again, with this, you can also use a pencil or an eraser or a pen or your pair of scissors to get it in the right place. Shove the corners of it with this, because if you shove it with your finger, it sticks to your finger, which is less than helpful. So I'm using my old ink at the moment. Oh man! Not entirely helpful, no. But because I lined it up with this line, I know exactly where it lines up to, and I can double check the positioning. So I lined it up to the edge, and I lined it up to this line. So I can make sure that the stamp is going to come back down where I want it to go. Yup, there we go. Phew. Okay. Now, I've been using up my old ink, and I think my purple ink is finally gone. So I'm going to get one out from my in here. I'm going to get one out now because I'm going to be talking about ink in another one of these. Yeah, I'm going to use one of these. Actually, I've currently got a purple one. I've got a green. me get cherry cobbler out because I need to talk about that one. And I think, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to go with copper clay, which is an old Stampin' Up colour that I really like. So I still use it. These are another thing that's kind of interesting, but again, I can grip it using the base of my thumb, which is convenient. And actually, I've got quite a good grip with the base of my thumb. Probably better than I had before with the pad of my thumb, which is useful. But I don't ever slide it all the way in because I can't grip it to pull out. So, there we go. Ready, set, and down we go. And just leave it sitting there, letting the ink soak in a little bit. Move that one out of the way. And I was telling you why I'm with Stampin' Up, and yeah, the main reason is being able to use their products on things. But there is a secondary reason. There are some other companies that I could use their products. Echo Park is one of them. They have a really great range of paper as well, but I can't get it reliably in the UK. They have 2 weights of paper, which is really useful. But yeah, I can't use it. I can't use it for kits and things because I can't get it reliably in quantity. That's the one in the UK. I can get hold of it just for me most of the time, but I can't get hold of it to use and guarantee that somebody else is going to be able to get hold of it as well. For cleaning up stamps, I just use ordinary kitchen roll. So just the paper stuff that you have hanging around in your kitchen. That has gone very nicely the first time around. So the other advantage of this particular one is that you can take this out to clean it. So I can do that and show you what I'm doing. So some people just dab it like so to get rid of the ink, and some people wash it. I tend to dab it so I don't go and put my cuff in it or accidentally catch it on my card or whatever, because that's how I end up with messy bits on my cards. And then peel it off, take the card out. 2, 3, 4 little magnets. Take the card out, being very careful not to pop it in the ink, and then I'm going to put the stamp straight back into the right place on here. I lost one of my stamps. It was a tiny little stamp. It was all of about 1/4 of an inch round, and I lost it. And I thought, oh, I must have swept it up with all of the other pieces, all of the bits of paper that I was putting in the bin. I'm never going to see that stamp again. I was a bit sad because it was one of those lovely little snowflakes, and I thought, oh well, never mind, that'll teach me to put them back in the right place straight away, won't it? And then about 2 weeks later, I found it. I found it on the back of, not one of these packets, these are the new ones, one of the old DVD case ones, just stuck on the back, tucked underneath the label. I was very relieved, and close that one, put it back over here. Yeah, I was very relieved. So I need to stick Thinking of You on there. Put my card upside down. And then no, I think I won't go for cutting a little corner. Putting a little tail in it. Right. my pin has come out with glue on it. So I can put the glue straight onto the paper. And put the pin where I'm not going to lose it. You can see that I'm still thinking about whether or not I should put it in. I think because I haven't got a huge amount of space there, I'm going to leave it this time. But I could put a little tiny dovetail in it, but I'm not going to this time, just because there's not a huge amount of space there. And I think it needs the whole bit of space. Right. So just a teeny bit of glue, just in a little line, and then make sure it's the right way up. Push the card in hard to the edge, and then put the greeting hard to the edge, and then just roll it down. Hold it in for a moment, and off we go. And there is one card to my mum saying, thinking of you, you're on my mind, and I can write that and put it in the post tomorrow morning. Whilst we're talking about glues, I mentioned some good things about the Barely. The one that Stampin' Up uses, one that they sell, is this, which is the Tombow Mono. It's the one with the green lids. They also do a clear one with the blue lids. I haven't tried that. This one is very good, but as anyone else who has difficulty with some plaster glues will know, if you have difficulty with plaster glues, you need to be careful what other glues you use. And I found that that one was giving me a little bit of eczema, so I decided that it wasn't a great plan to keep using it. So, what other fun tools have I got? I was just going to show you one other tool very quickly, which is this. This is what I really wanted when I was looking at die cutting machines, was the extra large version of the Big Shot, which is this wide. This is the 6-inch version. I wanted the 9-inch version. It also comes with the extra long piece, so it would take up a lump of real estate on my table. At the moment I don't have the real estate to give up to one of these. This mostly lives on the floor underneath the table. But I got it second hand and it's beautiful. Look at the patterns on it. They used to put so much effort into making these look pretty. And yes, when I got it, it was old, it was absolutely functioning perfectly. I needed to replace these bits. The whole lot of this is new because let me just roll it through. The one of these that came with it, the hinge was completely bust because it does that after a while. And my plates, these plates are the only plates that I've ever used with it because I haven't had it all that long, but they're kind of warped, which is why I had them rolled underneath, and I'll put them back in a little bit. Yeah, so that's what I've those are the useful things that I've been using for years to make cards. Stick-on greetings, pretty bit on the front, a base, using foam to stick it up a little bit, and then stamping greetings. And then you have a card. And it couldn't be simpler than that, to send someone something personal, to say, I'm thinking of you, you're important, you matter. So until next time, happy crafting, and I will be back with some more tips and tricks, back to the basics fairly soon. Thanks for watching.